Join me as I dive into the crazy story behind the War of the Oaken Bucket in 1325 and try to figure out what really kicked it all off. In this video, you'll explore the fascinating story behind the War of the Oaken Bucket, a conflict that began in 1325 between the cities of Modena and Bologna. The story begins with centuries-old tensions between Modena and Bologna, rival cities in what is now northern Italy. For years, they'd been competing for power, territory, and influence. This rivalry wasn't just about politics. It was also about culture and identity. Modena and Bologna had distinct traditions, and their people took great pride in their city's unique heritage. These tensions often boiled over into skirmishes and disputes. One major point of contention was control over the surrounding countryside, where fertile lands and important trade routes lay. Both cities wanted to expand their territory and secure their economic future. Adding fuel to the fire was a deep-seated sense of distrust and resentment. Modena and Bologna had clashed many times before 1325, but their conflicts had usually been contained. However, on this occasion, something was about to happen that would push their rivalry over the edge. The city of Bologna was particularly proud of its well-built defenses and the symbols that represented its power. Among these symbols was a wooden bucket. Dive into the backstory of the bucket itself, including how it was taken from Bologna by Modena. The bucket had been used for years in religious ceremonies and public events. It was more than just a simple vessel. It represented Bologna's history and civic pride. When Modena's soldiers raided Bologna, they targeted its symbols of power. They entered the city grabbing whatever they could carry. Among their spoils was the wooden bucket, which they took back to Modena as a trophy. This act of theft was not just an insult, it was a challenge to Bologna's identity. The people of Bologna were outraged, feeling their city's honor had been attacked. The theft of the bucket was a spark that ignited a powder keg of tensions. The people of Bologna were furious. They demanded action from their leaders to reclaim the stolen bucket and punish Modena for its daring raid. The Bolognese rallied behind their city's banner, ready to take on Modena. The Modenese, confident in their military strength, stood ready to defend their spoils. The conflict quickly escalated into a series of battles. These battles were intense and often chaotic, with both sides suffering losses. The War of the Oaken Bucket had become a full-blown conflict, with far-reaching consequences. In the end, a seemingly trivial incident spiraled into a significant historical event. The War of the Oaken Bucket might seem absurd to us today, but it shows how quickly conflicts can escalate. If you've enjoyed this dive into the War of the Oaken Bucket, share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think really started this bizarre